The human engineers had settled into their temporary quarters on the Thrillian flagship, yet the excitement from the day's events still buzzed through their minds. Aaron, though exhausted, could not rest. The Queen's challenge had been more than a test of skill. It had been a measure of humanity itself. He knew that while they had proven themselves capable of repair, the real challenge was to earn lasting respect. The Queen summoned Aaron and his team to the central observation chamber the next morning. The room was vast, circular, and bathed in soft light that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. Panels of alien technology lined the walls, and at the center hovered holographic displays showing star systems' energy flows and intricate schematics that Aaron could barely comprehend. "You have shown skill," the Queen said, her tone measured but approving. "But skill alone is not enough. To earn trust among the Thrillians, you must show understanding, initiative, and respect for knowledge. Are you ready to continue?" Aaron nodded. "We are ready, Your Majesty. We will do our best." She gestured to a series of complex devices displayed before them. "These are experimental systems, energy regulators, propulsion modules, and communication arrays. Some are unstable. No Thrillian has been able to fully optimize them. If you succeed, it will demonstrate your value beyond a single task." Aaron and his team approached cautiously. Each device hummed with contained power, delicate yet potent. Aaron ran his fingers lightly over the surface of a propulsion module, feeling the subtle vibrations within. "It's intricate," he murmured, "but not impossible. We just need to understand the flow of energy and how each part interacts with the others." The engineers split into pairs, studying the devices methodically. Lena worked with Terran on a communications array, while Aaron focused on the propulsion module. They applied human ingenuity, combining observation, experimentation, and logical deduction. Unlike Thrillians, who often followed strict protocols, humans relied on adaptability and improvisation. Hours passed, and progress was slow but steady. Aaron adjusted the energy flow within the propulsion module, stabilizing the resonance that had caused previous failures. Lena and Terran successfully recalibrated the communications array, enhancing signal clarity beyond what Thrillian engineers had achieved. The Queen observed quietly, her expression unreadable but her eyes attentive. Guards remained nearby, alert but unobtrusive. The humans could feel her presence, a constant reminder that they were being measured not just for results but for character, intelligence, and resourcefulness. Finally, Aaron completed the adjustments on the propulsion module. He tested the system carefully, holding his breath as the energy stabilized. Slowly, the module's performance reached optimal levels, exceeding the original specifications. The Queen stepped closer, her towering form casting a long shadow over the humans. She extended a hand, letting the energy pulses of the module wash over her fingers. The glow intensified and the chamber filled with a soft hum of approval. "Remarkable," she said, her voice echoing through the chamber. "You have not only repaired these devices but enhanced their performance. Few Thrillians could achieve this. You possess creativity, intuition, and courage. These qualities are rare even among my people." Aaron felt a mixture of pride and humility. "We are honored, Your Majesty. Humans survive by thinking differently. We combine knowledge with observation, logic with experimentation, and we never give up. That is how we overcome challenges." The Queen studied him, her gaze lingering. "Persistence and innovation, traits that your species holds in abundance. I had underestimated humanity. You have earned not only recognition but respect, yet respect is fragile. Trust must be maintained through actions, not words alone." Aaron nodded solemnly. "We understand. We will continue to prove ourselves not just once but consistently. That is the human way." Over the next several days, the humans were allowed to study additional Thrillian systems. They explored energy distribution networks, environmental controls, and advanced materials labs. Each time they applied human problem-solving techniques, they discovered improvements or efficiencies that Thrillian engineers had not considered. Word of their achievements spread quickly among the ship's crew. Guards, technicians, and even scholars whispered about the small humans who had dared to touch the Queen's armor and had succeeded in ways no one expected. Aaron noticed the change in demeanor. Respect replaced skepticism. Curiosity replaced doubt. One day, the Queen called Aaron aside privately. They stood on a balcony overlooking the core of the ship, where energy conduits pulsed in rhythm like the heartbeat of the vessel. "You are different," she said, her voice calm but intense. Humans are small and fragile, yet you possess qualities my species values above all: courage, creativity, and the ability to adapt. You inspire confidence not just through strength but through ingenuity. You have earned my personal acknowledgement. Aaron bowed slightly. Thank you, Your Majesty. We are grateful for the opportunity. Humanity wishes to contribute, not just observe. We believe that collaboration can make both our species stronger. The Queen regarded him silently for a moment, then nodded. Collaboration requires trust, and trust must be earned. You have shown your potential, but know this: the galaxy is full of dangers. Your ingenuity must match every challenge, and your courage must remain unwavering. Do you understand? I do, Aaron replied firmly. Humans never back down from challenges. We adapt, learn, and find solutions. That is how we survive and thrive. The Queen's expression softened slightly. Good, then you may proceed. I will allow you access to advanced research areas under supervision. Observe, learn, and apply your knowledge wisely. Show that humans are more than small and fragile. Show that your species is capable of greatness. Aaron felt a quiet thrill. This was more than recognition. It was an opportunity to demonstrate humanity's worth on a galactic scale. He returned to his team, sharing the news and the encouragement he had received. Lena's eyes sparkled with excitement. We've really impressed her, she whispered. Aaron smiled. We have, but this is just the beginning. Respect is earned over time through actions, consistency, and ingenuity. We need to keep learning and improving. The following days were filled with collaborative work. Humans and Thrillians studied energy grids, propulsion systems, and experimental materials together. Aaron led his team in problem-solving, combining human improvisation with Thrillian knowledge. Slowly, the Thrillian crew began to view humans not as small, fragile beings, but as capable partners. Aaron noticed subtle changes in the way the Thrillians interacted with them. Guards offered guidance rather than suspicion. Scholars asked for human input on complex problems. Even the Queen occasionally observed without suspicion, letting the humans work independently. One evening, Aaron and Lena were examining a new energy conduit design when the Queen approached silently. She observed their work for several minutes, her large eyes following every adjustment, every calculation. You understand efficiency, she said finally, and your methods are unconventional yet effective. Humans may lack the natural strength of the Thrillians, but your species possesses qualities that can change the course of innovation. Aaron felt a surge of pride. We believe that collaboration between species can lead to advancements no single civilization could achieve alone. Humans survive through creativity, persistence, and courage. The Queen inclined her head slightly. Indeed, I see now that small size does not mean weakness. Courage and intelligence can achieve far more than mere strength. You have earned a place of respect among my people. Aaron looked around at his team, seeing their expressions of awe and excitement. They had come as guests, observers of a far greater civilization, and now they were collaborators, respected for their ingenuity and courage. As the day ended, Aaron reflected on the journey so far. Humanity had shown that curiosity, honesty, and intelligence could overcome fear and prejudice. The Queen's acknowledgement was more than personal. It was a recognition of humanity's potential, a promise of what could be achieved through courage, ingenuity, and collaboration. And somewhere deep inside, Aaron knew that the adventure was far from over. Respect had been earned, but the galaxy was vast, filled with challenges and opportunities. Humanity had proven itself capable, and now it was time to show that courage and intelligence could shape the future, not just for humans, but for the stars themselves. The Thrillian flagship gleamed under the distant star, its energy pulsing softly through the massive vessel. Aaron and his team had spent weeks aboard the ship, learning, observing, and proving their worth. Every day brought new challenges, new systems to study, and new opportunities to demonstrate human ingenuity. What had started as a tense encounter with the alien Queen had transformed into a partnership, built on respect and trust. Aaron walked through the corridors alongside Lena and Taryn, reviewing notes and schematics they had gathered. We've done more than just repair armor and stabilize systems, he said quietly. We've shown them that humans can contribute to solutions they never expected. Lena smiled, her eyes reflecting the glow of the energy conduits along the walls. And they've acknowledged it. The Queen's respect. It feels real, not just formal. Aaron nodded. Yes, but respect is only earned through consistent action. We need to continue showing courage, creativity, and collaboration every step of the way. Their discussion was interrupted by the arrival of Vril, the chief of operations. The Queen requests your presence in the central chamber, he said, his tone carrying a mix of authority and anticipation. It is time for a demonstration of collaboration between humans and Thrillians. Aaron and his team followed Vril, their hearts racing with anticipation. The central chamber was larger than ever, filled with devices, displays, and systems that seemed almost alive with energy. The Queen stood at the center, her towering presence commanding the room. Yet her eyes held a spark of curiosity and anticipation. Humans, she began, her voice resonating through the chamber. You have proven skill, ingenuity, and courage. Today we will see how your species can contribute to innovation on a galactic scale. You will work alongside Thrillian engineers to create a system that harmonizes energy flow throughout the ship. Success will demonstrate the potential of our collaboration. Failure will teach lessons that must not be forgotten. Aaron's team nodded solemnly. The challenge was immense. Thrillian ships relied on perfectly synchronized energy networks, and even small miscalculations could cause instability or damage. Yet Aaron felt a quiet confidence. Humans had faced impossible odds before. Adaptability and problem-solving were their strengths, and he knew they could succeed. He led his team to a console, studying the energy flow patterns with careful attention. The key, he explained, is to identify where the currents are unstable, then create pathways that allow energy to redistribute efficiently. It's like water flowing through a network of pipes. We can guide it, but we must respect the natural currents. The Thrillian engineers observed silently, some skeptical, others intrigued. Aaron combined human methods with Thrillian protocols, experimenting carefully while monitoring the system's response. Slowly, energy began to stabilize in areas that had previously fluctuated. Lena worked alongside a Thrillian technician on a complex module controlling environmental systems. She used human improvisation to recalibrate the settings, enhancing efficiency without disrupting the delicate balance. The Thrillian technician watched in amazement, clearly impressed by her intuition and adaptability. Hours passed, but the humans and Thrillians worked tirelessly, adjusting, observing, and refining. Aaron felt a sense of unity forming between the species. They were no longer outsiders or guests. They were collaborators, partners in discovery and creation. Finally, the energy networks harmonized completely. The ship's systems glowed with synchronized light, each pulse steady and strong. The chamber was filled with a soft hum, the sound of perfect balance. The Queen stepped forward, her eyes sweeping across the humans and Thrillians. Remarkable, she said, her voice calm yet filled with awe. You have achieved what many believed impossible. Humans, your creativity and courage have not only solved problems but have inspired collaboration across our species. Today you have earned your place among the Thrillians as trusted partners, not merely observers. Aaron felt a swell of pride. We are honored, Your Majesty. Humanity believes in working together, learning from others, and finding solutions. We hope to continue contributing wherever we can. The Queen regarded him for a long moment, then nodded. Your efforts have changed perception. Trust and respect have been earned, not through fear or force, but through ingenuity and courage. That is a rare achievement in any species. Word of the successful collaboration spread quickly throughout the flagship. Guards, engineers, and scholars whispered with excitement. The humans were no longer seen as fragile or insignificant. They were recognized as capable, intelligent, and courageous. Aaron noticed the subtle shifts in behavior. Thrillians sought human input, shared insights, and respected human ideas. Later, Aaron was invited to the Queen's private chamber. She stood before a large observation window, looking out at the stars. You have proven much, she said, her tone thoughtful. Humans possess qualities my species values highly: persistence, creativity, and courage. Your presence here has reminded us that strength is not only in size or power, but in intelligence and adaptability. Aaron bowed respectfully. We are grateful for the opportunity.
Humanity hopes to continue building trust and sharing knowledge.
We believe collaboration can benefit both our species. The Queen nodded. Indeed. I will grant your people access to research archives and experimental systems under supervision. Learn, adapt, and continue to demonstrate the value of your species. The galaxy is vast, and humans have the potential to shape its future if you act wisely. Aaron felt a quiet thrill. This was more than recognition. It was a chance to prove that humans could leave a lasting mark on the galaxy. He returned to his team, sharing the news and their new responsibilities. Lena's eyes sparkled with excitement. "We've really earned their trust," she whispered. Aaron smiled. "Yes, but trust must be maintained. The galaxy is full of challenges. We've shown we can rise to them, but we must continue to prove ourselves every day." Over the following weeks, humans and Thrillians worked together to explore advanced technologies, optimize ship systems, and develop new methods of energy management. The humans applied their problem-solving skills creatively, while the Thrillians contributed their vast knowledge of complex systems. The collaboration became a model for how different species could work together, combining strengths to achieve results neither could accomplish alone. The Queen occasionally visited the observation chambers, observing quietly as humans and Thrillians collaborated. Each time she showed approval, sometimes offering advice or asking questions that challenged their thinking. Aaron and his team began to understand that true respect was earned not through a single act, but through consistent effort, collaboration, and integrity. One evening, Aaron stood beside the Queen as they watched the ship glide through a nebula, its energy networks glowing in harmonious patterns. "Your Majesty," he said quietly, "humans are proud to contribute. We hope our presence here demonstrates that courage, creativity, and intelligence can bridge differences between species." The Queen regarded him, her expression contemplative. "It does. You have shown that small, fragile beings can influence great civilizations through ingenuity and persistence. Your species may yet surprise the galaxy." Aaron felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Humanity had arrived as outsiders, untested and underestimated. Now they were respected collaborators, partners in shaping the future. The encounter with the Queen had started as a test of skill and courage, but it had become something far greater, a recognition of humanity's potential to inspire, create, and lead through intelligence and integrity. As the humans prepared to leave the flagship and return to their homeworld, Aaron reflected on the journey. The galaxy was vast, filled with challenges, unknown dangers, and incredible opportunities. Yet humanity had proven that courage, honesty, and ingenuity were stronger than fear, prejudice, or physical weakness. The Queen's final words echoed in his mind. "Your species may yet surprise the galaxy." Aaron smiled, knowing that they would continue to do so. Humans had earned respect, forged alliances, and demonstrated that even the smallest beings could shape the future of the stars. The shuttle lifted off from the flagship, leaving the Thrillian ship behind. Aaron gazed out at the vastness of space, feeling the weight of possibility and the thrill of adventure. Humanity had taken its first steps toward earning its place among the stars, not through strength alone, but through courage, creativity, and unwavering determination. And somewhere deep inside, Aaron knew this was only the beginning. The universe awaited, full of challenges and opportunities, and humans would meet them head-on, proving that even the smallest species could achieve greatness. The stars stretched before them, limitless and bright. Humanity had arrived, and the galaxy would never be the same. The repaired chest armor gleamed under the dim lights of the Varelian workshop, but Liam's mind was not at ease. Something about the damage bothered him. While the repairs were complete, he could not shake the feeling that this was not a simple battle scar. His instincts, honed through years of human engineering and problem-solving, told him that the armor had been deliberately compromised. He crouched beside the workbench, examining the seams and the reinforced layers he had installed. The scratches were too precise, too deliberate. Someone had studied the Varelian armor and designed a way to weaken it without leaving obvious signs. Liam frowned. In human terms, this was sabotage. "Commander," Liam said, looking up as Thera entered the workshop again. Her presence always commanded attention, and even now, without the full battle stance, she radiated authority. "I believe the damage to your armor was not accidental." Thara paused mid-step, her amber eyes narrowing slightly. "Explain." "They are deliberate cuts," Liam continued. "The armor was weakened in specific points. Whoever did this wanted it to fail at a critical moment." He tapped a reinforced seam. "This isn't from random fire or normal battle conditions. Someone studied the design before the attack." Thara's expression shifted. A flicker of concern crossed her face. Humans were often underestimated for their intelligence, yet Here one was pointing out something she had not noticed. She stepped closer, her voice low but firm. "Are you sure?" "Yes," Liam replied. "I have never seen damage like this before. It's precise and targeted. If we do not investigate, it could happen again, and next time the consequences may be worse." Thara studied him silently for a moment, then nodded. "You have a keen eye, human. Perhaps it is time to involve the crew." Liam shook his head. "Not yet. If we alert everyone, the saboteur may hide their tracks. We should investigate quietly. I can help detect the weaknesses before anyone notices." Thara considered his advice. Humans were known for thinking outside the box, for finding solutions when conventional methods failed. She respected that. "Very well," she said. "We will do this quietly. But be careful. This could be dangerous." Liam smiled faintly, a spark of excitement mixing with caution. Danger was never enjoyable, but it was often the stage where humans excelled. While others relied solely on strength or protocol, humans used creativity and logic to turn challenges into opportunities. He began running diagnostics on the armor. Connecting a small interface device to the chest plate, the human scanner adapted slightly to Varelian technology, allowing him to detect stress points, hidden microfractures, and weak energy circuits. Within minutes, he discovered anomalies that confirmed his suspicions. Some of the armor's energy channels had been subtly rerouted to create a delayed failure under heavy stress. "This is clever," Liam muttered. The attacker knew exactly how the armor distributes energy. They tried to make it fail without immediate detection. Thara crouched beside him, examining the display. "Clever, but dangerous. This is not the work of amateurs. Someone has been observing us closely." Liam nodded. "Yes, and if they are willing to target your armor, they may target the ship next." Thara's amber eyes grew sharper. "We must prepare, but we cannot act recklessly. If the crew suspects internal sabotage too soon, panic could spread. We need a plan." Liam leaned back, thinking. Human experience often relied on rapid analysis and improvisation. He began suggesting measures, reinforcing the ship's critical systems, running subtle monitoring programs, and integrating human-style redundancies into Varelian technology. Thara listened, impressed by his ability to adapt methods from two completely different engineering systems. "Humans are underestimated too often," Thara said quietly. "Yet you see what others cannot. I trust your judgment, human." Liam nodded, grateful for her trust. "Thank you, Commander. I will do everything I can to protect this ship and crew." As they worked together, the atmosphere in the workshop shifted. It was no longer just a repair station. It became a command center of observation and planning. Liam's human methods combined with Varelian technology created a synergy neither species had expected. Hours passed. Liam installed discrete sensors and monitoring devices in the armor and surrounding areas, ensuring that any tampering or unusual activity would be detected immediately. Each adjustment required careful calculation, as Varelian systems responded differently to human methods. But Liam worked with patience and precision, driven by the knowledge that even the smallest mistake could have consequences. Finally, Liam stepped back, wiping sweat from his forehead. "The armor is secure now, Commander. If anyone tries to sabotage it again, we will know immediately." Thara examined the chest plate one last time. The repairs and enhancements glinted in the light, reflecting both Varelian craftsmanship and human ingenuity. "Excellent," she said. "Now we turn our attention to the ship. If someone wanted to sabotage my armor, they may try to strike elsewhere." Liam followed her to the main control deck, a vast room filled with consoles, holographic displays, and the quiet hum of power conduits. The crew worked efficiently, unaware of the potential danger lurking among them. Liam's presence drew curious glances. Humans were rare here, and his methods were unlike anything they had seen. Thara addressed the crew, her voice calm but commanding. "We are implementing new monitoring protocols. I expect full cooperation. Trust your human engineer. His skills are exceptional." Some crew members exchanged skeptical looks, but most nodded. Human ingenuity had a reputation for unpredictability, but results spoke louder than suspicion. Liam moved quickly, integrating his systems into the ship's core diagnostics. Hidden channels, energy flows, and structural weak points were now under constant observation. As the crew carried on with their usual duties, Liam noticed subtle changes in the ship's energy patterns. Someone had accessed the systems recently, leaving traces that were almost invisible. His heart quickened. The saboteur was still active, he informed Thara quietly. Commander, the intruder may still be here. We need to be cautious, Thara's eyes narrowed. We will proceed carefully. Humans are skilled at improvisation. Lead the way, Liam. Liam nodded, moving down the corridors with a careful, analytical eye. Every panel, every conduit, every system became part of his observation. His human instincts, combined with analytical thinking, allowed him to anticipate potential threats. Hours later, a subtle alarm triggered. Nothing obvious, but enough for Liam to notice a micro-fluctuation in the ship's energy grid. He followed the trace, moving through quiet corridors and dimly lit passages. Finally, he found evidence of tampering in one of the engineering nodes, a small device hidden behind a panel, designed to disrupt power to the ship's defensive systems. He carefully removed it, examining the intricate alien technology. It was clever, yes, but not clever enough to evade human observation. Liam smiled faintly. You underestimated humans, he muttered to himself. When he returned to Thara, he presented the device. This is what I found. Someone is trying to sabotage the ship from within. We caught it early. Thara took the device, her eyes reflecting a mix of concern and admiration. You are correct, human. Your vigilance has saved the ship from potential disaster. I underestimated your foresight. Liam shook his head. No, Commander. Humans have survived and thrived because we notice what others overlook. We adapt, we find solutions. That is all I am doing. Thara nodded thoughtfully. And that is why humans will be essential to the Alliance. I see it now. Strength is not just in power, but in the ability to think, to adapt, and to solve the impossible. Liam felt a surge of pride. The recognition was not for bravery in battle, nor for sheer strength, but for the human quality that had defined his species for generations. Ingenuity. The rest of the day passed quietly. Liam continued monitoring the ship, adjusting his systems and ensuring that no further tampering could occur unnoticed. Thara moved through the corridors, confident that her armor and her ship were secure under his watch. By the time the second Varelian night cycle approached, Liam paused for a moment, leaning against a console. The stars outside the ship's hull shimmered in the darkness, distant and cold, yet filled with endless possibilities. He thought about the humans who had built ships, repaired engines, and faced dangers that seemed impossible. They had done so with nothing but tools, intellect, and determination. And now, here on a Varelian battleship in the middle of space, he was continuing that legacy. Not with weapons, not with brute force, but with skill, observation, and human ingenuity. Thara approached quietly, placing a hand on the console near him. Human, I will admit it, she said softly. I did not expect your kind to be so capable. You think differently. You see what others overlook, that is, invaluable. Liam smiled, a modest but genuine expression. Thank you, Commander. I only do what humans do best. For a moment they stood in silence, the ship around them alive with quiet energy, systems humming in perfect harmony. The threat of sabotage had been discovered, yet the ship and crew remained safe. It was a small victory, but an important one. And as Liam prepared for the night, his mind was already working on new solutions, anticipating further challenges. The universe was vast, full of dangers and mysteries, yet he knew one thing with certainty. Humans, underestimated though they might be, had the ability to face the impossible and turn it into triumph. The Varelian battleship glided silently through the endless void, its massive hull reflecting the distant starlight. Inside, the corridors were calm, yet tension hummed in the air like a quiet storm. Liam had spent the better part of the day monitoring the ship's systems, analyzing potential vulnerabilities, and ensuring that no trace of sabotage remained. But he knew this was only the beginning. Commander Thara entered the engineering section, her armor glinting under the lights. She moved with the confident precision of a seasoned warrior, yet there was an unspoken curiosity in her eyes. Human, she said, her voice calm but authoritative. I trust you have discovered all you could about the previous tampering. Liam nodded. Yes, Commander. The sabotage attempts have been neutralized, and I have implemented monitoring systems throughout the ship. But there is more we can do. I can enhance the armor further and also improve the ship's defensive systems. Thara raised an eyebrow. Enhance the armor? It is already repaired. Repaired is good, Liam replied, but enhanced is better. I can integrate some human engineering techniques with your Varelian design. It will increase flexibility, strength, and resilience without sacrificing mobility. Thara considered him for a moment. Humans were often underestimated, yet Liam's previous actions had proven the depth of his skill. Very well, human, show me what you can do. Liam smiled faintly. He set to work immediately, retrieving specialized tools and components he had prepared. Using a combination of Virelian energy conductors and human alloy reinforcements, he began a subtle restructuring of the chest armor. Tiny energy channels were rerouted to distribute stress more evenly, while the outer plates were reinforced with a flexible mesh that absorbed impacts more efficiently. As he worked, Thara watched closely. Her fingers traced along the existing seams and her eyes followed every movement. There was an unspoken respect growing between them. Humans were often underestimated in the alliance, but Liam's careful, methodical approach was changing her perspective. "You think differently," she said quietly. "Virelians tend to rely on raw strength and power. You adapt. You find solutions that others cannot see." Liam paused for a moment, smiling. "It's what humans do best. We survive by thinking, by observing, and by adapting." Hours passed as he continued his work, occasionally testing the armor's responses to stress simulations. The Virelian materials responded well to his enhancements, bending and flexing in ways even the original designers had not anticipated. Finally, he stepped back and examined his work. The armor looked the same to an untrained eye, but to Liam and Thara, its improvements were clear. Faster energy distribution, stronger protection, and a resilience that could withstand far more than any previous model. Thara approached cautiously, flexing her shoulders as she moved. "It feels different," she admitted. "Stronger yet lighter. I can move more freely and I sense the energy flow differently." Liam nodded. "Exactly. You won't just be protected, you'll be more effective in battle. Your movements, your reflexes, everything is enhanced." Thara's amber eyes softened with appreciation. "Human, I underestimated your skills. This is impressive," he shrugged modestly but with quiet pride. "I just combine what I know with what I learn from others. That's how humans solve problems." Their collaboration had not gone unnoticed. Members of the crew, who had been skeptical of human capabilities, began to observe Liam with interest. Some whispered among themselves, admiring the seamless integration of human ingenuity with Virelian technology. Others remained cautious, unsure of how a human could enhance their long-established systems. Liam ignored the whispers and continued his work, moving to the ship's defensive network next. He integrated human-style redundancies into the Virelian circuits, creating backup pathways for energy flows and defensive protocols. If any part of the system were compromised, the ship could reroute power instantly, ensuring no single failure could disable critical systems. As he worked, he noticed subtle patterns in the ship's energy readings, fluctuations that suggested the enemy scouts who had attacked previously were still active in the galaxy. They were not a distant threat. They could strike again. Liam realized that these enhancements were not just about improving the armor or the ship. They were preparing for the inevitable confrontation. "Commander," Liam said, looking up from the control console, "if we anticipate the enemy's strategies, we can set traps within the ship's systems. We can use their expectations against them." Thara nodded thoughtfully. "Humans are clever. We tend to rely on predictable tactics, but you think in ways I had not considered." "Very well, proceed." Together they devised a plan. Liam created a series of defensive protocols that would trigger automatically if certain enemy actions were detected. He also integrated subtle alerts that only he and Thara could interpret, ensuring the crew remained calm while being prepared. Hours turned into cycles of continuous work. Liam and Thara tested the armor and systems repeatedly, simulating attacks and observing responses. Each iteration improved the ship's readiness, and each success reinforced Thara's growing respect for the human engineer. At one point, a small alert triggered in the monitoring system. Liam traced it quickly and discovered that a minor system had been tampered with, likely a scouting attempt by enemy forces. The intruder had underestimated the enhancements he had made. With a few adjustments, he reinforced the system and integrated it into the ship's broader defensive network. Thara watched silently, clearly impressed. "Human, your skills have made this ship stronger than before." "Your ingenuity. It is remarkable." Liam smiled. "It's not just skill. It's observation, adaptation, and using what you have to its fullest. That's what humans do. We make the impossible possible. For a moment, the workshop was silent except for the quiet hum of energy conduits. Liam and Thara stood side by side, reviewing the enhancements, both aware of the significance of their collaboration. This was more than just armor repair or system improvements. It was a symbol. Humans, though underestimated, could turn even the smallest advantage into a decisive edge. Finally, Liam stepped back, allowing Thara to test the armor and the ship's systems herself. She moved through the corridors, her movements fluid and precise, testing every enhancement. Energy flowed seamlessly through her armor, responding to her intentions instantly. She could feel the difference. Faster reflexes, more controlled movements, and a subtle awareness of the ship's energy systems through the armor itself. This is incredible, she admitted. Your enhancements are subtle, but they make a significant difference. I can feel it. My instincts are sharper and my movements are more precise. I trust you, human. Liam nodded, feeling a deep sense of accomplishment. I just use what I know and combine it with what I learn from others. Humans may not always be the strongest, but we find ways to excel. Thara paused, looking at him thoughtfully. You are more than a skilled engineer. You are an asset to this ship and to the Alliance. I will ensure your contributions are recognized. As the day ended, Liam continued refining the systems, preparing for any potential threats. The ship's crew gradually adapted to his methods, following his subtle guidance and beginning to appreciate human ingenuity. The enhancements were complete, yet he knew vigilance was still necessary. In the galaxy, threats were constant, and adaptability was the key to survival. In the quiet of the workshop, Liam allowed himself a moment to reflect. Humans had always survived against odds that seemed impossible. They had built civilizations, explored worlds, and faced dangers far greater than any single alien species could imagine. Now, on a Varelian battleship, he was continuing that legacy, using intellect, creativity, and adaptability to make a difference. Thara approached him once more, her presence commanding yet calm. Human, today you have shown that your kind is invaluable. Not for brute force, not for numbers, but for ingenuity and foresight. That is a strength I admire. Liam smiled, feeling a quiet pride. Thank you, Commander. Humans have always relied on their wits to survive. It seems we can also help others do the same. For the first time since arriving on the ship, Liam felt a deep sense of belonging. He was a human among aliens, yet his skills and perspective had earned respect and trust. The armor was not just repaired, it was improved. The ship's systems were not just monitored, they were enhanced. And Liam knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, humans had the ability to adapt and overcome. Outside the ship, the stars continued to shine, distant and cold, yet filled with possibilities. Inside, a human engineer worked quietly, ensuring that the vessel was ready for whatever the galaxy might throw at it. And in that moment, Liam understood something profound. Human ingenuity was not just a tool. It was a force, a quiet, persistent, unstoppable force that could change the course of events, one problem at a time. The adventure was far from over. But for now, the ship was stronger, the armor was enhanced, and the human engineer had proven that even in a galaxy of superior technology, humanity had its place, and its power. The quiet hum of the Varelian battleship was suddenly pierced by the sharp alert of incoming enemy scouts. The sensors Liam had installed earlier detected multiple small ships approaching at high velocity, their intentions clear: to attack and disable the Varelian vessel. Liam felt a surge of focus. This was the moment he had prepared for. Every enhancement to the armor, every adjustment to the ship's systems, every human-engineered failsafe was about to be tested. Commander Thara appeared at his side, her presence commanding yet calm. "Human," she said, her voice steady despite the flashing alarms. "The enemy has arrived. Are we ready?" "We are prepared," Liam replied. "The armor is enhanced. The ship's defenses are optimized, and I've set traps in the systems for any intruders who attempt sabotage." Thara gave a slight nod, her amber eyes scanning the holographic displays. "Good. Then let us see if your human ingenuity lives up to its promise." The first enemy scouts appeared on the tactical display, sleek, agile ships designed for quick strikes. Most Varelian vessels could overpower them easily, but these scouts were not acting alone. Liam noticed subtle patterns in their movements. They were coordinated, attempting to predict the ship's defensive maneuvers. "They're testing us," Liam muttered. "But they don't know we've anticipated their strategies." Thara's hand rested on the reinforced chest armor, now enhanced with Liam's human techniques. The energy channels distributed force efficiently, making her movements quicker and her reflexes sharper. She flexed her arms, feeling the subtle improvements in responsiveness. Every motion she made was calculated, every step precise. The first scout fired, aiming for the ship's shields. Liam's systems detected the attack before it even registered on conventional sensors. Instantly, automated countermeasures activated, rerouting energy and deploying subtle traps that slowed the enemy's approach. "Impressive," Thara said, moving swiftly toward the command station. "You've turned the ship into more than a vessel. It's a weapon and a shield." The enemy scouts, expecting an easy victory, were suddenly at a disadvantage. Liam had anticipated multiple attack vectors and pre-programmed the ship's systems to respond faster than any human or Varelian operator could manually manage. Thara led the counterattack personally. Her enhanced armor allowed her to move through the corridors with unmatched agility, coordinating the crew's response as they fired defensive drones and adjusted shield frequencies. Liam's enhancements amplified her abilities, giving her a level of control previously unseen in the fleet. Meanwhile, Liam monitored the ship's internal systems, ready to intercept any subtle sabotage attempts. Sure enough, he detected a minor breach attempt in one of the secondary power nodes, a hidden device meant to disable the ship from within. With precise timing, he activated the countermeasure, neutralizing the threat before it could cause harm. "Human," Thara said, her voice sharp but approving. "Your foresight has saved us from a potential disaster. Continue monitoring. We cannot afford mistakes." Liam nodded, his eyes scanning the displays. "I've got it covered. The enemy may be fast, but we're faster, in thought and in action." As the battle continued, Liam realized that the enemy scouts were not just attacking. They were testing the ship's limits, trying to predict its responses. But human ingenuity was a different kind of force, unpredictable, adaptable, and relentless. Liam began feeding subtle adjustments into the ship's systems, creating false vulnerabilities that lured the scouts into traps. Thara noticed the shifts in the enemy's behavior. "They are falling into your patterns, human," she said, her voice tinged with admiration. "I can feel the difference in how the battle flows." "Exactly," Liam replied. "They expect predictability. Humans are rarely predictable." The first wave of scouts faltered, their attacks failing to breach the ship's enhanced shields. Liam deployed energy pulses through the corridors, designed to disable intruding drones and disrupt enemy targeting systems. The scouts, caught off guard, began to retreat, regroup, and reassess their strategy. Thara moved swiftly through the command center, issuing orders with precise efficiency. Every crew member followed her commands, enhanced by Liam's subtle system upgrades. Shields adjusted dynamically, drone squads repositioned with perfect timing, and energy channels optimized in real time. The ship, once a standard Varelian vessel, had become an extension of Liam's mind and Thara's skill. "Human," Thara said, her tone almost reverent. "I must admit, your contributions have changed the course of this battle. I underestimated your kind." Liam smiled faintly. "Humans are good at adapting, Commander. We find solutions when the unexpected appears." The enemy scouts launched a second wave more aggressive than the first. Liam anticipated this, adjusting the ship's systems to create temporary blind spots and misleading energy signatures. The scouts, misled by the false data, collided with automated defense drones and misfired their weapons. Thara's movements were fluid and precise, each step calculated to take advantage of Liam's enhancements. She moved through the corridors with confidence, her enhanced reflexes allowing her to respond to threats before they became dangerous. The crew followed her lead, inspired by the seamless coordination between human ingenuity and Varelian discipline. Liam detected a final scouting ship attempting a direct breach. This one was faster, more cunning, but he was ready. Using the ship's enhanced systems, he redirected energy to the defensive nodes and initiated a subtle trap, a controlled feedback pulse designed to disable the enemy without causing permanent damage. The scout faltered mid-attack, systems disrupted by the human-engineered feedback. Thara, moving swiftly in her enhanced armor, intercepted the craft with precision maneuvers, forcing it into retreat. The remaining scouts, witnessing their leader's failure, disengaged and fled into the void. For a moment, silence filled the ship. The battle was over. The alarm ceased and the hum of the ship's systems returned to their steady rhythm. Liam leaned back, exhausted but satisfied. Every enhancement, every adjustment, every human insight had contributed to this victory. Thara approached him, her presence calm but commanding. "Human, you have done more than repair or enhance. You have turned this ship into a fortress and a weapon. Your ingenuity has saved countless lives today." Liam shook his head modestly. "I only used what humans do best: observation, adaptation, and problem-solving. The credit is shared with you and the crew. Without your leadership, Commander, the systems alone would not have been enough." Thara's amber eyes softened with appreciation. "Perhaps it is time the Alliance sees the true value of your kind. Humans are more than they appear. Today, you have proven it." The crew, who had watched the battle unfold, began to acknowledge Liam's contributions openly. Skepticism turned into respect, whispers of admiration spreading quietly through the corridors. Humans, often underestimated, had demonstrated a level of ingenuity that changed the tide of battle. Liam returned to the workshop, taking a moment to inspect the repaired armor and the ship's systems. Everything functioned flawlessly. The enhancements he had made were holding up under real conditions, and the crew's trust in him had grown. Outside the ship, the stars shimmered like distant diamonds, cold and unyielding yet full of possibilities. Inside, a human engineer had altered the course of a battle, proving that ingenuity and adaptability could rival even the most advanced technology. Thara entered the workshop once more, placing a hand on the console beside him. "Human, I will admit it. I did not expect your kind to be so capable. You think differently. You see what others overlook. Today, you have shown that humans are invaluable." Liam smiled, feeling a quiet sense of pride. "Thank you, Commander. Humans have always survived against impossible odds. It seems we can also help others do the same." For a moment, they stood in silence, the hum of the ship and the distant stars filling the space around them. Liam knew that this battle was only the beginning. The enemy scouts were a reminder that the galaxy was full of challenges, yet he felt ready. Humans thrived in unpredictability, and wherever the next threat appeared, he would be prepared. The ship, now stronger and more resilient than ever, moved steadily through the void. Liam's enhancements had proven their worth, and the Alliance had seen a glimpse of human potential that could not be ignored. And in that moment, Liam understood something profound. Ingenuity was not measured by size, numbers, or raw power. It was measured by thought, adaptability, and the courage to act when the unexpected appeared. The battle had been won, but the adventure was far from over. The galaxy awaited, full of dangers and possibilities, and humans, underestimated, adaptable, and clever, would continue to shape the future in ways that no one could predict.